Well, Zarir Irani is here to explain to us in more detail the impact on trade and supply lines caused by the storm. He's a ship captain and the managing director of a shipping firm called Constellation Marine Services and joins me now from Dubai. Good to have you with us on the programme, sir. I mean, ships in the region can be given sort of weather warnings through official shipping channels, but what's the protocol for moving to a safe haven when a typhoon approaches?
Thank you very much, Sohail, for having us. Let me tell you that the protocol are twofolded. One is for ships which are anchored outside a very, very busy Shanghai, Ningbo area. Those ships, as per usual protocol, the port control would have given instructions to lift up the anchor and start steaming. It's safer when the ships are moving at sea rather than drop the anchor. Usually the anchors drag when typhoons of this enormity come past the anchorage areas. And then there are those vessels inside the port, which are also, if not moving cargo, they need to cast off and sail out to the sea. It's safer for ships to stay afloat rather than in harbor and or at anchor during typhoons which hit busy shipping coastal areas like the ones Infa is going to be transiting.
Of course, when these alerts happen, there is a huge impact on trade and those supply chains. I mean, we saw recently a ship getting stuck in the Suez Canal, and that caused havoc for the global shipping movement as such. When it comes to something like a typhoon and a natural disaster, dare we say, how long do you have to wait before you can actually start moving once again? Because that's all about timing, isn't it?
Yes, indeed. It's all about timing, and this one's passing right in between Ningbo and Shanghai. It's already made landfall as we speak. So when that happens, the stacks of containers which are in the port are always vulnerable. So the first precaution a couple of days ago, which would have already been done, is flatten out the high-rise stacks as much as possible. Gantries, the gantry cranes which stand up, with heavy winds, there's no way these gantries are going to remain. So you would see some gantries collapse, etc., because they have weights at the other end to keep them stable. So if you ask me, it's going to be a very, very difficult. It's going to be a very difficult time for the shipping traffic. I would say, to answer your question, ideally, we should see at least a week or more delay before things even come close to being normal. A lot of waterlogging, a lot of coupled containers, etc., would be the challenge.
From your past experience, then, of these sorts of weather scenarios, how much does it cost your business alone?
Look, our business actually sees this as a positive, actually, because we deal with a lot of claims, etc. So when we get the southeast monsoon and the ships get battered and come into the Gulf area, or for that matter, there would be claims consultants and insurance surveyors like ourselves in the Shanghai area. They would really be seeing a very, very busy time, because everybody will want to know what's gone wrong with their cargo, their containers, their ships. So there would be an extremely busy and a hectic time for people like us in the Shanghai area post this typhoon.
And so what sort of problems does the supply chain actually experience from, I say, ships not being able to reach their destination?
Well, perishable cargoes, biggest liability. There are refrigerated meats and fruits and medicines, chocolates coming out of regions in refrigerated containers. These have huge delays because of containers that stuck up in transit ports after they've been stuffed and coming into the harbor and then not able to get on the ships and move to the destination. So delays of perishable, the biggest challenge. And then, of course, there is water damage and also physical damage. If the cargoes are kept stacked high up, and if the stack collapses, the container remains in waterlogged pools in port because of heavy downfall. So there's water absorption, so there's moisture damage to cargo. especially electrical cargo inside 20-footers and 40-footers. I'm talking about containerized cargo here only, not to mention bulk cargo, which is iron ore, coal, etc., which always remains stacked in stockpiles in port, and that's going to be usually affected by the heavy downfall with the weight of the cargo changing, etc. Not so much as material damage as deterioration, because they are weatherproof cargoes as such, which are open air, but containerized cargo, especially commoditized cargo for perishable goods, is the biggest vulnerable commodity in this kind of scenario.
Well, we shall continue to watch what happens in the coming hours as this weather front hits Asia Pacific. For the moment, Zarir Irani, thanks for joining us from Dubai.
Thank you very much for having us. Goodbye.